What if you could buy into Cleveland, Tennessee's next wave of growth? Before the bidding wars, before the new neighborhoods are sold out, and before property values can respond to what's coming. Cleveland is about to add over 1,400 new jobs, build nearly 3,000 new homes, and continue the reimagining of its downtown all over the next decade. And if you're relocating from a higher cost market, right now is your window. I'm Chris Roberts, your Southeast Tennessee relocation realtor, and I help people from all over the country find their best life right here in Chattanooga and Cleveland, Tennessee. And if you're in the research phase right now, grab my free relocation guide that's right down in the description. It covers neighborhoods, schools, healthcare, all of the things that you're probably Googling right now. All right, let's talk about what's coming to Cleveland. If you're relocating to Cleveland and you want new construction, there's one corridor that you have to have on your radar right now, and that is North Lee Highway between Cleveland and Charleston. This is where the building activity is absolutely exploding. Let's start with the biggest one that was just recently announced, and that is at Hardwick Farms. Now, this is nearly an 800-acre master planned community that will eventually bring 1,700 homes when it's fully built out, along with commercial space and land that's already been set aside for a future school. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky kind of plan. This is real infrastructure that's being laid right now. And if you're relocating with kids or you're thinking about resale value down the road, master planned communities with planned schools, that is a signal that builders and developers are expecting long-term demand. Now, this isn't going to be something that you're going to be able to move into next year. This is a 10-year plan for the community, and it'll be some time before houses are even ready to begin being built. This is just giving us a window into where Cleveland is headed for the future. But here's what makes this really exciting. Hardwick Farms, it's not alone on North Lee Highway. Lennar will be building new homes directly across the street from Hardwick Farms, and they also have Summit View, which is just up the road, complete with its own pool and amenities. And then there is Kings Court, a luxury community also just off of North Lee Highway, and they're finishing out their final home sites with high-end finishes and premium features in those homes. This entire corridor of the north side of Cleveland is becoming the focal point for new construction in the area. So if you're someone who wants new construction, modern finishes, and you don't want to wait 18 months for a custom new build, North Lee Highway is where you need to be looking. And there are even some smaller builders like Senko Homes that are putting in spec houses on some decent land right here to capitalize on the growth that's headed north. Because this corridor is going to get busier over the next few years with more homes and more traffic, many of you may want to look a little bit outside of this area for a little bit of peace and quiet. Places like the east side of Cleveland, or small towns like Charleston, Benton, or Athens. And if you're still wanting that new construction and that neighborhood style, there are developments by Riverstone Construction and again Lennar building a little bit east towards the Whirlpool plant. Same access to Cleveland and Chattanooga, but you wouldn't be sitting right in the construction zone for the next few years. Neither is going to be wrong. You just need to know which one is going to fit your lifestyle before you start making some offers. And if you're trying to figure out which strategy makes sense for you, that is exactly the kind of conversation that I love having with my clients. So reach out. My contact info is going to be right in the description and right here on the screen in front of you. All right, now let's talk about why all these homes are coming in the first place. Here's the part that most relocators miss when they're researching Cleveland online. This isn't just residential growth. This is job-driven growth. And if you're relocating for work, or you're just trying to understand if this market has staying power, you need to know what's coming. Let's start with the big one, and that's SK Food Group. They're building a massive new facility in the Spring Branch Industrial Park. Now, we're talking about a roughly $200 million investment that's bringing more than 800 jobs to the area over time. That is transformative on its own. But here's where it gets really interesting. Formulated Solutions, a pharmaceutical manufacturer, is investing more than $40 million into a facility in Cleveland, planning to create 524 new jobs. Now, these aren't just warehouse jobs. These are quality control roles, logistics, compliance, formulation, the kind of good paying jobs that allow people to buy these new construction homes. Then there's Amero International, an advanced manufacturing company that works with titanium powder for aerospace, medical, and defense applications. They're bringing about 100 high-skilled jobs that are like engineering, material science, and advanced production roles. And here's the thing, none of this is replacing what's already here. Duracell is expanding. Food manufacturers are expanding. Industrial suppliers, they're expanding. This is like a real industrial cluster that's forming here. And if you've ever watched a market go through this kind of shift, you know what happens next. When you add over 1,400 jobs to the area, you don't just get 1,400 people moving in. You get their families. You get the businesses that support them. You get the suppliers, the contractors, the service providers. That is why the housing is scaling the way that it is on North Lee Highway. And if you're relocating here within the next 12 to 14 months, you can get in right before that momentum really takes off. Lots of builders are also offering some great incentives, especially for those that are getting in early. So definitely look for some of those advantages to take right here. Now, let me tell you about the long-term play that nobody's really talking about yet. And that is in downtown Cleveland. Because if you're relocating here and you're thinking long-term, like, I want to buy something that I can hold for 10 years and build real equity, this is the story that you need to understand. The former Whirlpool site downtown is nearly 50 acres. To put that in perspective, that is like 5 Fenway Parks, and the city has acquired that property. Now, 2026 is not about ribbon cuttings and grand openings. This is about the boring stuff: environmental remediation, soil testing, cleanup. It's the reason that this project is going to take a matter of 5 to 10 years. Because once that land is clean, the long-term vision includes a possible 1,000-seat entertainment venue, green spaces, improved walkability, and a real connection to different parts of downtown. Now, here's why I'm bringing this up for relocators. If you're buying in Cleveland right now, especially if you're looking at homes within a mile or two of downtown, you need to understand that this area is being repositioned. It's not happening tomorrow and it's not happening next year, but over the next decade, as that 50-acre site starts turning into something real, the surrounding neighborhoods are going to see shifting property values, improved walkabilities, and in general, just a more interesting quality of life. If you've seen this happen in other cities like Portland, Asheville, or even Chattanooga's South Side, you know how the story goes. The early buyers, they do really well. So if you're relocating from a place where you've already lived through a downtown revival, you might want to pay attention to this one. It's a patient play, but it's a smart one. Now let's talk about Exit 20, because this is where you can see commercial and the infrastructure sides of Cleveland's growth. Exit 20 off of I-75 is becoming a true mixed-use corridor and is the gateway to the Cherokee National Forest and the whole Ocoee region. Pryor Bacon Company is developing a 96-acre mixed-use project there, which is going to include some multifamily residential, some hospitality, more automotive, and medical uses. So you've already got a Pilot, a McDonald's, a Subway, Taco Bell, a movie theater, and a bunch of car dealerships, and more is going to be coming. Bradley County has a Southern Corridor area plan that outlines how this part of town could be developed to accommodate a potential influx of 32,000 new residents over the next 10 years. Now, here's the part that really matters if you're relocating. The city is upgrading the utilities infrastructure around Exit 20 to support higher density development. I know, sounds super boring, but here's why it matters. Cities don't spend millions of dollars upgrading things like water, electricity, fiber, and more unless they know what's coming. They've done the math. They've seen the development plans, they know where the growth is going. So when you see utility work and road construction around Exit 20, what you're really seeing is preparation for commercial expansion, retail growth, and the infrastructure to support new homes in the area. But if you're relocating because you want space and quiet and less congestion, You might want to look at the areas that aren't in the direct path of this commercial growth. Areas like I had talked about before, that east side of Cleveland. Small towns like Charleston and Benton and Athens, which is just about 35 minutes north. Infrastructure is being upgraded to support it all, and right now in 2026, this is the window where you can get in before everybody else really figures this out. So here's what this all comes down to if you're relocating to Cleveland. You're looking at a market that is about to shift. Jobs are coming. Neighborhoods are being built on the north side. Downtown, it's being prepared for a 10-year transformation. Infrastructure is being upgraded to support it all, and right now, in 2026, you're in the window where you can get in before everybody else figures this out. Before new neighborhoods on North Lee Highway sell out. Before job announcements hit the national news, and before the buyers from Atlanta and Nashville start looking this direction. And if you're relocating from a higher cost market, this is going to be your moment, because here's the thing, you can't just pick a house on Zillow and hope for the best. You need to understand where the jobs are landing, which neighborhoods are in the path of growth, and which ones aren't. You need to know which builders are actually delivering on time, whether you want to be in the middle of development or just outside of it. And that's what I do. If you're in the research phase, download my free relocation guide linked right in the description. And if you're ready to have a conversation about where you should be looking, reach out. Let's talk through your situation. My contact info is going to be right on the screen in front of you, because this market is shifting, and the earlier that you understand it, the better positioned you're going to be to live your best life in Chattanooga and Cleveland, Tennessee.